Hello everybody, Eddie Hates Anime. Hello everybody, Eddie Hates Anime here, doing a video that I'm really excited for. Wanted to do this for a while. I also did a DC version of this. This video is upcoming MCU projects ranked by how hype I am for them. Me personally, this isn't how good I think it'll be, because there's some projects that I think have the potential to be amazing, but maybe they're not characters I know as much of, or maybe I don't think that it'll be for me personally. Then there could be something where it's like, oh, this movie might not be great, but I'm biased towards this character, so my hype might be a bit more than it should be, you know? So it's a very personal video. If you guys want, you can play along. I actually made this tier list myself because I couldn't find one that suited my needs, but in the comments you can tell me what you think. Also, not all of these projects are confirmed, and I think some of them are canceled. So I'll go through on those and mention those. I just got all these off of Rotten Tomatoes as like upcoming Marvel projects list for the most part, and then ones that I knew were like mentioned. So, you know, if a thing isn't coming out, it is what it is. I am not as super caught up on like the latest in Marvel news because I just don't like seeing leaks all over my timeline, and that's more of what it is rather than just normal announcements. So without further ado, let's get into it. We got our tiers, which I named like a little goofily, but I did put S, A, B, C, D, and F next to them, so you guys kind of know what I mean. And yeah, let's get it. Let's get it, man. Marvel Zombies, I will put A. It's not an S. This is where I'm talking about like the hype versus the quality, because now don't get me wrong, I do think this will be good quality, but I am worried. Like I am very hyped, that's why it's an A, but I am worried storytelling wise a little bit. Not super worried, but it's like, okay, this is the team behind What If. I've talked about my thoughts on What If as a whole a bunch of times, and it's like, it's not impossible to fumble. Do I think they'll fumble this? Probably not. I think they know a direction they want to go and what story they want to tell, and off of everything I've seen off the trailers, there's a particular vibe that they've invested in with this, and I think it should be good. But as a huge Marvel Zombies fan in general, very hyped to see another adaptation of it, or a continued adaptation, I guess. Yeah, and it's R-rated, and the trailer had baby metal. Next we got Wonder Man. See, this is one where it's like, okay, I don't know this character at all. I know he exists. So should I put it in exist? I meant to be like, this project exists. That was kind of like my joke there. I didn't know what to name for D. Like, it's there, but you know, I don't know. We'll put it in F, because I'm just not, like, I don't know enough to even have an excitement level. It's just a project to me until I see a trailer or something, or maybe I'll read a Wonder Man comic book and then suddenly be a bit more excited. It'll move up to D. But we're gonna keep it there. Spider-Man's an easy S. This is another one where it's like, no matter whether I think a movie of Spider-Man or something is gonna be shit or peak. Now, I don't think it's gonna be shit, but let's say I did think, like, let's say I was hearing reports and it was like a very warring outcome and all this, and I'm looking at the trailers and I'm like, yo, this doesn't even look that good. I would still be at S just because it's my favorite character and potentially all of everything on the big screen. What's there not to love? Next, we got Avengers Doomsday. Now, this is one where plot stuff actually is starting to affect my hype for it. I have mentioned this before, not much on this channel, but I'm not a huge fan of the pivot, the really hard pivot Marvel made from the Kang saga to this. I understand that there was background shit, and then the response overall from the audience to Kang wasn't high, but I don't care. I thought, okay, at least they're setting up something with Ant-Man, Loki, etc., using big words over here, and it's like they had something that was being set up. Whether the fans liked it or not, it is what it is. I still prefer that to rushing to Doomsday and Secret Wars and these plot lines that heavily involve Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom, when we've only gotten one Fantastic Four movie and we're not gonna meet Doom until Avengers, most likely. And don't get me started on the whole Robert Downey Jr. thing. However, for the normal fan, the person that doesn't know shit about Marvel and goes to watch the movies, from all the people I know that are like that, they're very excited for RDJ. And they're probably gonna be more excited when they see an Avengers movie coming to the theaters as opposed to anything else Marvel. So I'm sure the hype will build up on social media and IRL, just overall talking points for Marvel. You'll have more people than usual talking about it, kind of like back in the day when they'd be talking about every movie almost, but that's just never, we're not going to get to that point again for a while. DC's probably going to get close to that point. It's more exciting right now for non-comic fans, I feel like. But that sense of community that you don't get with every comic book movie, because this is more mainstream, because it is the Avengers name, maybe that hype from the general audience will rub off on me more once we get closer to that movie. So I'm gonna put it at A. I want to put it at C or B, but I feel like that's just disingenuous, because I feel like as we get closer to it, we start seeing trailers and everyone starts getting hype as fuck. I'm gonna let it rub off on me regardless of my problems with their choices for this saga overall in the Avengers like route. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I think so. Next we got the Punisher special. S. I love special presentations as a concept for Marvel. They remind me of the old one-shots, like a funny thing that happened on the way Thor's hammer, for example. And I don't know why we don't have more of these. I think limiting everything to movies or Disney Plus series that tie heavily into the movies was kind of an L. That's why I really like the old Netflix stuff, because it didn't feel super connected. Daredevil Born Again obviously kind of went that route, and they're starting to understand, okay, not everything needs to tie heavily because fans are getting exhausted. I mean, me personally, I'm already a Marvel fan, so it's a little different, but general audience here. I'm not one of those comic YouTubers that thinks only comic fans exist. I try to put myself in the place of every fan when I make these videos or talk about stuff, because I empathize with different points of views. But yeah, I think special presentations can be awesome. They might not have as much story to tell, or maybe you want to tell a story that doesn't have this long running thing. With the Punisher, it's so simple. You just have him. You could literally have him fucking shit up in a warehouse for fucking 20 minutes and call that a special presentation. You could have a simple story. I know this isn't gonna happen because rights, but you could have a simple story of Spider-Man saving a cat. Just really simple stories, or just really cool short action things, or just out there stories like Werewolf by the Night, where it is so good, and you can use these opportunities to do something different stylistically, because you're not putting it on the big screen. The risk isn't as big there, just straight to Disney Plus. But it's also not a huge series. It's just, there's so much flexibility with this concept. I love it, and I think the Punisher is a great character to do it for, because we're already invested in him, and he, for the people that haven't watched the show already, the Punisher logo is so recognizable. People are going to watch it regardless. And you don't need to have seen Netflix Punisher, I'm assuming, to watch this. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that. Next, we got Daredevil Born Again Season 2. The end of Season 1 has me so fucking hyped. I actually made a video on this Season 1 when it came out. My thoughts haven't changed too much on it, besides, like, you can very clearly tell what was from the original script writer's room and what was, like, after they revamped it. But overall, I think the series has aged pretty good, because it is just, like, it is Daredevil. I grew up watching the Netflix series. You know, that shit was coming out when I was in high school. So recreating those feelings, and Daredevil after those early high school years where I started actually reading comics and getting more into Daredevil, he is now one of my favorite Marvel characters in general, up there with like Spider-Man and Moon Knight. So this is an easy yes. You know, I just love Daredevil. I love Matt Murdock, and I especially love this version of these characters. And I'm hoping we get to see more in Season 2 of specifically like Netflix characters. Because like I said, that was kind of one of my only problems with the first season of this, is that you can tell that the original plan was distance ourselves away from the Netflix version as far as possible, until they realized, that's not gonna work. But because of that, in the end of episode 1, we did get some pretty crazy shit. So it's kind of a, you know, double-edged sword. Alrighty, really quick interruption from future Eddie here. Y'all aren't gonna see me because I'm pretty much butt-ass naked editing this video after getting out the shower. But I had to mention, I don't know how I didn't mention this in the original recording. We have a confirmation of Jessica Jones returning, who's probably my second favorite Netflix character from Marvel. I do like Punisher a lot. He probably should be second to a lot of people, but Jessica's goated to me, so I really enjoyed her. And I think all of her show is really good. So not only are we getting that returning, there's rumblings of Luke Cage returning in another project somewhere maybe. Iron Fist was in Eyes of Wakanda. It wasn't the Danny Rand Iron Fist, but that mantle is now in the MCU, so we are now getting more of Netflix confirmation in terms of ties to these characters, or just the characters themselves. So yeah, my second favorite Netflix character from the old Marvel Netflix shows is coming back, and that's one of the hugest reasons that I'm excited, because I've been waiting for her to come back, and I'm so happy it's confirmed. I could talk about this whole, like, Netflix characters coming back thing for a while, but I'm not going to. Let's move on to the next one. You won't be disappointed. Keep watching and subscribing shit. Next, we've got Vision or Vision Quest. I don't remember exactly what it's called or gonna be. Vision's cool and he's important. He's never been one of my favorite Marvel things, and I don't know enough comic wise. I've only read like one or two Vision centric things, and I don't even remember what they're called. There was one with a really crazy art style that I read a long time ago, and it was like his family and stuff. I don't know. I don't even remember. I'll put it in D. I might move it up to C depending on where we go. I'm the type of guy that in tier lists, you'll hear me say this a lot, I like to use the spaces. You know, if you have them, use the spaces. Same with like ratings. You don't want to look at someone's ratings and they're all 10. You know, if they genuinely think they're all 10, it's good for them. But me, it's like if I have two things in 10, but I like one more than the other, I gotta put one to 9. Because it just makes sense. Like, they can't be on the same tier if I don't have them on the same level. So I always add more tiers before I just have a billion things on the same tier. Next, we got Armor Wars. I don't even know if this one's still happening. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't know. Like, I think the action potential was really cool. Story-wise, I don't know, man. Like Tony's stuff getting into the wrong hands. Haven't we seen this already? I don't know. I do like Rhodey. I would like to see more of him. And like I said, I don't know if this is canceled or not. But if it does happen, I think it would be cool. You know, average amount of hype. Nothing too crazy. Blade, it should be S, and I'm gonna keep it an S. I love Blade. We might move it down to A, but it wouldn't be fair to it. I am gonna move to A actually, because I feel like overall the interest in this movie, like I don't think about it as much. I don't lose as much sleep thinking about it because I don't even know if it's gonna come out at this point. It hasn't been canceled per se, but it pisses me off, and I've talked about this before as well. Like in my reaction to the Marvel Zombies when I saw Blade, I went on a big ass rant about this movie. But okay, they might be struggling. Maybe they want to write a heavily, engaging script in a crazy storyline we haven't seen for Blade before in a movie. I applaud that. But if that's what's stopping you for years and years and wasting a goated actor, Mashallah Ali, am I pronouncing that wrong? I don't remember. But a goated actor, perfect for Blade. Love Wesley Snipes, but I don't want him playing Blade till he's 90, like Wolverine. And it's just like, the longer you wait, the less time you have. That's just a fact with this character and in life. And if that's what's stopping you, you haven't found the right, like, oh, how we're going to make this, because I know they want to connect into other stuff, like the end of Eternals and all this stuff. I just don't see the point, because at the end of the day, you could just pivot from that to making a cool movie that's pretty simple, straightforward, of Blade kicking some, not zombie, I was thinking of Marvel Zombies, kicking some vampire ass for an hour and a half to 2 hours. Hell, you could even make a simple presentation of it and people would eat that shit up. People yearn for Blade. It is such an easy movie to market, in my opinion. I could be missing something. I'm not there in the fucking board meetings. I'm not, wiping Kevin Feige's ass or anything. So I don't know, but it just pisses me off because it seems like such a normal project in the grand scheme of things compared to everything else, and self-contained outside of the Eternals connection. It should just be easy to do, I feel like, compared to a lot of these other bigger scope ones. Like, not saying Blade's a fucking New York vigilante that doesn't have powers. Like, there's still stuff to it and there's lore and all this, but it's a section of the world that hasn't been explored yet. Like, they're not going to be stepping on too many toes here. I feel like it shouldn't be that bad, so I'm moving it down to A because I am starting to not think about it as much because it's getting pushed farther and farther, and we don't even know if it's happening anymore. Next, we got Shang-Chi 2. I believe this is still happening. I'll put it at B. But it's just been a while since we've seen them. Once again, I think Marvel, I don't know, their character appearance rate ever since Phase 4 has been kind of weird to me. Like, it's just really easy to forget characters exist when you haven't seen them in forever. But I think the movie could be really good. And I'm sure as it comes closer, if it does happen, like, we'd probably move it up. That's like a lot of these. I feel like a lot of these would move up a tier once they get closer. Next, we got the potential, whatever I'm getting this off of Rotten Tomatoes, so this hasn't even been confirmed yet, I don't think, but whatever the Marvel MCU X-Men official debut movie is going to be, we'll put this in A. It should be S, probably. But like I said, like, it's not even a concept yet, I don't think. And I don't know. I want to wait till after, like, Secret Wars to even have a thought on what this is going to be, because it's probably what's going to shape how this world's X-Men are, whether they're borrowing old versions or hopefully new versions instead, or they're gonna do, like, I don't even know, but we'll put that in A. Next, we got Black Panther 3. Once again, don't know if this is announced, but it's probably gonna happen. Ooh, I might put this in A and move this down to B, because like I said, this isn't a concept enough for me to even be hyped about, but I got a decent amount of hype for when they come in, and that'll probably move up eventually. But Black Panther 3, I really like Black Panther 1, I really like Black Panther 2, and I really liked Eyes of Wakanda. I just like Wakanda as a whole. I think it's an awesome place. In the lore, it has so much potential, which I'll talk about more in a second, because I think Okoye is canceled. If it was going to happen, I'd probably put this in C or B. I like her character a lot, and it would have been cool to, see her doing some shit. But while we're here, we're going to actually use this instead of Okoye, because I'm pretty sure that was confirmed canceled. We're going to use this for whatever the next Ryan Coogler Wakanda project is, because I'm pretty sure after Eyes of Wakanda, he's going to do another one. I mean, Eyes of Wakanda is already out, but you know what I mean. Like, after that, it was mentioned that there's another one he's contracted for, and we'll put that at C, maybe B, but I don't know. We're going to use the spaces. Depending on what it is, that could go up or down, because we don't know what type of project that'll be. We just know there's going to be more. I don't know if it's going to be like another Eyes of Wakanda type of thing, because I really liked that. I thought that was cool. It was very different than other Marvel projects, especially art-wise, like the animation and art style. I really value projects that stand out amongst a huge slate. And not to say MCU looks the same all the way around, but a lot of them have very similar looks or feels, I guess. Like, there's the MCU feel. It does diversify, but you know what I mean. All right, next we got Secret Wars. I don't know, kind of the same as Doomsday, where it's like, I just don't, I don't think about either the Avengers Doomsday. I might actually move down because I don't even think about it that often. So I can't really say I'm super hyped for it if I don't actually think about it that often. I'll put them both in B. Because it's like, I'm sure they'll both move up to A as we're getting closer, but I don't know. There's just a lot going around those movies where it's like, I just don't know what to think. I don't know what to think. Next, we've got, this is also off Rotten Tomatoes, Untitled Scarlett Johansson film. We're going to change what D is called. I don't even know what to call this. I'm going to say not that hype. Where it's like, you know, I could see some hype happening. Maybe I'll like it, but I'm just not that hype as of now. We'll put this there too. I don't know if it's going to be another Black Widow thing or what. I guess it could go down here as well. Maybe I'll switch Wonder Man in this. I think that's what I'll do. I think that's good because at least with Wonder Man, it's like, yes, well, it's like a project I don't know. So I am not going to be as excited as like a character that I obviously know. I am interested because it's a character I don't know. With the Black Widow character, we've gotten to a point where even like the Black Widow movie, like I thought it was fine, I guess. I don't know. I hesitate to call it like super good, but it introduced like Red Guardian, Yelena, who I didn't care for too much in that film, but looking back after seeing her appearances and things like Hawkeye and Thunderbolts, I do appreciate her more. But I think Black Widow has served her purpose in the MCU, and I don't know. I guess it'd be nice to see her again, but it is what it is at this point. Now, if it's not that, then I don't know. Then I don't know what to fucking think, whatever the project is. Next, we've got Nova Project. I don't know if this is happening or not, but I love Nova, specifically because when I was younger and I got into comics, Sam Alexander Nova. So if it's Sam Alexander, would put this at a B or an A. If it's not, be a little bit lower. And I thought we were going to get Sam Alexander for all these fucking years, because I remember when Infinity War happened, they said that he got the First Stone, killing all the Nova Corps. That would have allowed perfectly to like, oh, my fucking dad died in the goddamn Nova Corps. Here's his helmet, now I'm going to be Nova. But I don't know anymore, so I don't fucking know. I will put this in, I want to put it up higher, but, you know, it's just too many uncertainties for me to even know. My brain can't even fathom the hype levels. Doctor Strange 3, we're going to put it D, sadly. I really like Doctor Strange. And Doctor Strange 2, while not being a disappointment, I don't think utilized the multiverse aspect as good as it could have. Now, don't get me wrong. Put the pitchforks down. I'm not saying, oh, it should have had more cameos. No, I don't give a fuck about that. What I mean is when you tell a multiverse story, it's very important. Actually, I think the opposite of the cameos. Like, the multiverse should tell why your version is special. Spider-Verse is amazing at this. Lots of things are actually really good at this. There's a lot of things in Doctor Strange 2 that I think are strange. Strange. Like, the creators not knowing shit about WandaVision. So it's like, okay, there's a slight disconnect. You can even feel it in Wanda's character. I should have made a video on this low-key. But I do like the movie. And I think the direction, like Sam Raimi's direction and creativity, you can see that it bleeds through. And I think that's great. I love that. A lot of the visual stuff. It's just not as tight of a script as I would have liked, or as tight of a story, if that makes sense. And then I didn't like the post-credit scene because, you know, the end of the movie, you're like, oh shit, he's in danger. And then they show the post-credit scene and it's like, well, now we know he gets over that with the, I don't want to spoil what it is. Maybe he doesn't get over it, but I don't know. It's just kind of weird, right? Just kind of a weird back, like, you know, a few minutes later you see that and whatever. I really like his character though. I don't know enough about what's coming up, and I don't know. I'm just not as interested as some of the other things above it. Even Armor Wars, I'm gonna move Armor Wars down. I might move Armor Wars down to, I don't know. Let's do all of our revisions after this. X-Men 97 season 2. Oh, we'll put it A. Okay. Yeah, I think Armor Wars here is fine. I might move Doctor Strange up. I'm not gonna lie, I might move Vision down. I think that's a good tier list right there. I don't really want to change anything else. And this might seem blasphemous. Roast me if you feel like it, because it makes sense. Like Avengers and B, I'm probably just lying to myself. I think I am. But this is just as of right now on fucking a random September day in 2025. Avengers isn't coming out soon. Now, like I said, once that first trailer drops, I might be like, fuck that tier list. This is us tier. But for now, the choices that I'm seeing being made in the background and the lead up to why this version of Avengers is coming, it's kind of overpowering my hype. But yeah, I've given my reasons for all these. Let me know what you think in the comments. Am I fucking dumbass? Am I low-key a genius? I don't know. Loki? Marvel reference. But yeah, that's a video. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know. Because we can do this for a lot of things, you know, ranking upcoming anime seasons by hype, ranking upcoming movies in general, upcoming comics, anything, you know? We can make this a thing. And then after all these come out, we can do a part 2 to this. So yeah, subscribe if you're new, watch the DC version, and peace.